Hey everyone, I'm J.M. Padini, the Development Director for the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws and the Executive Director of your state chapter, Virginia NORML. Welcome to another episode of Live with Virginia NORML. It's Friday, October 7, 2022, and that means it's time for us to talk all things cannabis in the Commonwealth. And of course, answer your burning questions live. Hello, Doc. Hello, Jason. Good to see you both here. Hey, wherever you're watching, let us know. Drop a hello in the chat so we can see you. Tell us where you're from. Hey, Benjamin in North Carolina. Greetings to you, word from the point. Good to see everyone here. Kind of a big week for cannabis policy, if I do say so myself, and I do because I'm the only one here talking. Hey, Tom, good to see you. That's right. Thanks, Joe Biden. Thanks, buddy. It's nice when you follow through on some campaign pledges. I dig it. Oh, hey, Dennis and Kwame and Charlie and Fonz. Hey, James in Missouri. Good to see you. Hello, James in Alabama. Hey, Fred. Hey, Daniel. Scott, good to see you, friend. It is about time. It is about time, isn't it? It's nice when things happen. For those of you who are wondering what we're talking about, maybe you've been sleeping under a rock. I don't know. But yesterday, President Biden announced that he is issuing pardons for all prior federal offenses for simple marijuana possession. So that's big news. Now, this is about 6,500 people that are impacted by federal simple possession charges for marijuana. So not as sweeping as it is when it happens at the state level, where over 98% of marijuana possession charges occur. But still, it's an important and historic first step, not only for the federal government, but for the Biden administration. And additionally, President Biden has called on state governors to take similar measures. Now, here in Virginia, we're a little bit ahead of the curve, if you can believe it. During the Northam administration, simple possession misdemeanors were sealed in 2020. That was about 334,000 misdemeanor marijuana possession records that were sealed. This is way back in 2020. And then in 2021, we took it a step further and sealed just shy of 65,000 misdemeanor possession with intent to distribute records. So not the same as a pardon, but these records have been sealed by Virginia State Police. Now, a question I've been asked a lot today is, well, hey, could Governor Youngkin still issue a mass pardon for these? And yes, governors in Virginia do issue mass pardons. Could he? Sure. Is he going to? Probably not. That's the kind way to say it. Hey, Sherry, happy Friday to you. Greetings to you, Bernie in Charlottesville. Hey, James in Roanoke and Sarah in Oklahoma City. Hey, Adam, good to see you. Cassidy dropped that blog that we have up from the Virginia sealings that happened, just in case you wanted to see those data yourself. There you go. Hey, word from the point. So federal, those with federal simple marijuana possession records, convictions don't have to do anything. Don't have to do anything for this to take place. Hey, Catherine. Yeah, Fonz, it was a big step that was taken, and while it's important, it's historic, it's an excellent first step for the administration, it's simply not enough for American voters. The overwhelming majority of Americans favor ending marijuana prohibition, and recent polling indicates that there are majorities who believe Congress ought to prioritize a bill to end federal marijuana prohibition. And really, that's what has to happen next. It's great that these pardons are being issued. It's great that he asked states to do the same. It's fantastic that he is requesting an administrative review of marijuana's Schedule 1 status. But that administrative review isn't going to reschedule marijuana. It's Congress that must do that. It's entirely incumbent upon Congress to pass a bill to remove marijuana from the Federal Controlled Substances Act and allow states like Virginia to set their own policies for marijuana free from threat of federal interference. That's the big one. That's what everyone's waiting for when it comes to federal cannabis policy. Hey, Jennifer Douglas, good to see you. Adam, I am having a fine Friday. It's been extraordinarily busy for us. And I also am looking forward to the weekend. Hey, word from the point. What about intent to distribute? So the records sealed at the federal level are just for simple possession, not for distribution. But we may see subsequent action by the Biden administration on that. We'll just have to hang tight. Hey, Rick Parrish, let's get to your question. Rick asks if NORML's doing anything to help CDL holders who need medical cannabis as an alternative to prescription drugs. You mean other than legalizing medical cannabis? We do, Rick, as I'm sure you know, have limited employment protections here in Virginia for medical cannabis patients. But there are some instances in which those aren't as far-reaching as we would like. Now, I do know that we have published content at NORML regarding Secretary Buttigieg's position on cannabis and CDL holders, and so we would like to see the Secretary review and revise those policies. Head on over to the NORML Action Center at norml.org/act, and hopefully you'll find something there. Adam, it's always a fantastic time to take action on reforming marijuana laws, and we make that super easy for you here at NORML. Hey, John, let's see what you have to say. John says, so their gesture didn't help anybody that got charged a little bit more by the federal government. It's like getting arrested for smoking a joint at Wolf Trap. Yeah, it is really like that. It's about 6,500 people who have these federal simple possession offenses. And, that's not nearly as many people as have these offenses at the state level, but still 6,500 people whose lives are going to be changed by these pardons. Now, at the state level, fortunately, we've done more meaningful things here in Virginia. We do have those record sealings in place, and there is what has been referred to as expungement, but what we really are talking about is a deeper records sealing process, because it will not destroy the records. It will just add deeper levels of sealing to them, so they're not as accessible. But that process has until 2025 to be implemented. There have been some efforts to thwart and sort of undo that progress here in Virginia, but we're holding strong. And could Governor Youngkin issue mass pardons? Sure could. Hey, Della, happy weekend to you as well. Oh, Michael, I'm sorry to hear about the employment protections issues that you're experiencing. Happy Friday to you, Wade. What did you miss? I mean, there's kind of some big news, so maybe read about this whole Joe Biden thing or something. Yes, Fonz, it does include DC, but federal charges, federal offenses, not city offenses. um, I don't know what that is, but neat. Okay. Oh, thank you, Cassidy. I love seeing those helpful hints. All right, so you can read the normal statement regarding President Biden's plan to pardon those low-level convictions. You can also read the normal blog that we put up today. It's time to legalize America, because really that's where the American public is. We're all stoked that this first step happened, but it's time for congressional leadership to take action and to get a bill passed to end federal prohibition sooner rather than later. Hey, early voting has begun in Virginia. You can vote now in person. You can do this up and until Election Day, which is November 8th. And registration deadlines. Thanks, Cassidy. There are registration deadlines. You can register to vote in person and even on Election Day, of course, as well. You can register online to vote. You can register by mail. It has to be postmarked by October 17th if you are registering by mail. You can also request an absentee ballot if you're not in the state or don't want to go to an early voting location. You have to request your absentee ballot by October 28th at 5 p.m. It has to be received by October 28th at 5 p.m. in order for you to get that absentee ballot. If you do get one, you have to return it by mail or in person by 7 p.m. on Election Day. That's November 8th. Early voting happens until November 5th, and then in-person voting is, of course, on November 8th. Hey, JT, good to see you. Oh, that's awkward. We're not going to meet. Hey, James. James wants to know if it's likely that medical cannabis will be federally legal anytime soon. It's going to take Congress passing the bill and to remove marijuana from the Federal Controlled Substances Act. After that, it will be what states do. Just like states regulate alcohol, states already do and will, once prohibition is over, regulate cannabis, should they choose to do so. How soon is that going to happen? Hey, that's up to congressional leadership, and I hope you all are leaning on them. While we have been able to advance bills to end prohibition through the House, the U.S. House of Representatives, it's just not going anywhere in the Senate. There aren't the votes needed to get it through the Senate. Elections have consequences, friends, watchers of this show. Hear us say that multiple times every week, and it really couldn't be truer. We are experiencing that firsthand here in Virginia, where now we have legalized adult use, but we are in a stalemate, me and the House and the Senate are in a stalemate over enacting adult use retail sales. So as we are heading into the marijuana midterms, that makes them sound more fun, doesn't it? It's important that you vote. Get registered to vote. Help everyone you know get registered to vote, and make a plan to vote, either in person on Election Day or early voting where available. And since you all already, of course, have done so, make sure you are helping your friends, family, and neighbors make their plan to vote as well. And all of you here, of course, care deeply about cannabis policy, so you want to know where the candidates stand on cannabis policy before you cast your vote for them. You can find all of that and more out at NORML's Smoke the Vote guide to legalizing marijuana in your state. It's at vote.norml.org. JT, thank you for reminding me about Amazon Smile. JT's official job here at this show is to remind me to talk about Amazon Smile. Hey, those of you who shop using Amazon, um, you can donate to NORML literally every time you make a purchase. It's super easy. Go to Amazon, set your charity of choice as the NORML Foundation, and every time you shop, Amazon will contribute to the NORML Foundation. If you want to do this at the state level, you can choose Cannabis Commonwealth, and that goes to Virginia NORML. Oh, I'm just gonna, it will be interesting, won't it, Rick? Rick, okay, I read your comment a couple of times and I think it's funny, so now I'm gonna share it. It will be interesting to see where President Biden falls on the issue after midterms. You know, I don't know. I mean, everything in politics is calculated. And is this really about the midterms? You know, what we're just happy about is that this was a campaign pledge and he followed through. You know, as is always the case when a politician, when an elected official changes their stance or takes a step forward or pivots, whatever it might be, people immediately start complaining about how they did X, Y, Z. And literally that's what we do here is help people change their minds about failed public policies. And so when they move forward, we say thank you and high five. We don't just sit there and whine about what they used to do. I'm, of course, not saying you're doing that, Rick. I'm just explaining a little bit about what's going on out there around this issue. It's okay to say good job when someone does something that you want. You don't have to rub their nose in what they did bad before. So that's what you can expect from us. James, I can't wait for the story that you have for me. James, I'm going to share your comment. James says, I've got a great story for you. I'm in a nursing home setting and one of the other residents snitched me out to the police. Yikes. So I showed the police officer my medical card. When she looked at it, she said, "What's this?" After looking at it, the officer just shrugged her shoulders and said, "I don't even think you need that now," and turned and walked away. Well, that was quite a story, James. Thanks for sharing it. I'm sorry that your neighbors suck. Oh yeah. So yep, there is still, as Word from the Point points out, there is a compassionate use program for distribution of medical marijuana grown at Ole Miss for NIDA. Yeah, that's a thing. Oh, Adam, your comment is wildly entertaining. I'm just gonna enjoy it myself from over here. Hey, those of you who follow us on Twitter, of course, saw all of this happen in real time. We went to the Cannabis Control Authority Board of Directors meeting yesterday. And I live tweeted from it because what else is there to do? It was largely content that we'd already seen, but Cannabis Control Authority has a spiffy new logo. High five. Looks good. I went through everything that they did, but most notably, a couple little tidbits. They did a financial overview and indicated that $8.2 million was appropriated to the Virginia Cannabis Control Authority for this year. They've only spent about $500,000, and they're going to be allocated roughly another $2 million. This is for this fiscal year. Next year's funding is a much bigger challenge. Also, there was a town hall held in Southwest Virginia by the CCA earlier this year, and their next one is supposed to be in Portsmouth, possibly at the end of November or December. Now, town halls are going to be scheduled in the other health service areas as well. CCA is working on some content that should be online soon and available as handouts at these town halls. Lots of sort of fact sheets, handouts related to cannabis. Hello, David. Hello. Ooh. Hey, Rick. Rick asked if NORML is available as a donation option with Kroger. I don't know. I'll go check out Kroger's nonprofit program and see if we can apply. Is it like any NPO or is it? I don't know. Can't wait to find out though, Rick. Thanks for asking. Hey, Ryan. Good to see you. David, I'm doing great. Thanks. How are you? Oh, what else is happening? I'm just scrolling through to take a quick peek. Hey, wherever you're watching, first of all, thank you. Second, I would love it if you would go ahead and hit that like button, that follow button, or that subscribe button so you never miss when NORML goes live, ever. Don't miss us. We're exciting. Drop a comment wherever you are too, so I can answer them and we can have better engagement. I hope you all like our Halloween accessories. This is Veronica. She has a name. She lives here in the office during the most wonderful time of the year. Hey, Keisha, good to see you. David, glad you're hanging in there after the storms. Wow. I thought that was going to take a lot longer to go over all of this Biden stuff, but it didn't. Oh, John. Like, hold on. Yeah. Hey, thanks for asking, John. My barber is Elliot at High Point here in Richmond. High Point's amazing. They have a handful of locations in Richmond, and I've been going to see Elliot, who's one of the owners, for years. He's awesome. Thanks, Elliot, making my people happy about my hair. And they also have a great name. So of course you're probably going to want to go to High Point at some point and either get your hair cut or get a shave or get an awesome t-shirt that says High Point on it. Oh, hey, Adam, thanks for asking. It's funny that it's not funny that you bring this up because someone brings it up every show, but they talked about it a lot at the Cannabis Control Authority Board of Directors meeting where they all sort of, I don't want to say complain like in a whiny way, but they all brought up, it's probably a better way to say that. Numerous people brought up that this is the question they get all the time. And I just wanted to reach over and be like, hi, welcome to our world. So Adam is asking about obtaining a cultivation license. And there isn't one. There's no process in place in Virginia. In order for that to happen, we have to pass a bill in the 2023 General Assembly. Now, there's only been one round of licensing for cannabis in the Commonwealth, and that was for our medical cannabis program. That was markedly different than what adult use will look like from a licensing standpoint, not from a regulatory standpoint. Virginia does have one of the better programs when it comes to regulation of cannabis for consumer safety. Sure, some of the regulations are a bit onerous for the producers, but from the consumer side, it's pretty excellent. And you can look at the RFA, the request for applications that went out for the medical program. What you could glean from that are the types of things that they are going to ask for during the application process. But before anyone gets wild about this, stop worrying about what the fees are in the RFA for medical, because they're not going to be the same. Remember this, people are looking under my door. Remember, this was done back in 2017 And we had a much different legislature 5 years ago. This program took 2 years to develop. It was under a conservative controlled legislature. They wanted to mandate vertical integration. They were only going to license 5 producers, 5 stores in the entire state for 8.5 million people. 5, that's it. And it was absurd, but it's what we could do at the time, given the people that had been elected to represent us at that time. And so you saw some higher end application fees, but when you compare them to other states, they're honestly not high and not at all for a limited licensure vertical integration model. So it was a $10,000 filing fee for the application that was non-refundable. And then if someone won a conditional permit, then the permit fee was $60,000. So all in all, way too high for like a retail license for what these licenses were. Vertical and limited, not high. Now, is that going to be the filing fee for an adult use retail license? Of course not. It's not going to be the fee, the licensing fee either. That would be ridiculous. We're also not going to mandate vertical integration in the adult use licensing structure unless, the people that you elected to represent you lose their minds and get into some wild harebrained scheme. So that's all to say, Adam. Yes, you can take a look at the RFA, but take it with a grain of salt. Look at it to see what sort of filings you'll need to put forth, plans wise, not what the fees are. Hey, Brian. Good to see you. Oh, hey, Sissy and Vidalia. I'm glad you enjoy these every week. I do too. Oh. Hey, Cruel Consequences. Thank you. That was that's a nice thing to say. And look, as we say in the blog that we put out today, it's time to legalize America. It is thanks to NORML members' hard work. For 2 years, our members have been sending tens of thousands of emails asking for this federal action. We wouldn't be here today without our members. So thanks to all of you for getting this done. Someone actually sent an email responding saying, I didn't do this. It's just okay. Thanks, buddy. Of all the things that take time to send an email about, it's that. I mean, Kwame, you're not wrong. Look, this, as we've said repeatedly, this is an important and historic first step. It doesn't go far enough. You can't get that time back if you've spent the past 20 years, saddled with a past marijuana conviction. The same thing holds true in Virginia. People who have, had their records sealed in 2020 or 21, you can't get that time back. You can't get those lawyers' fees back. You can't get those fines back. But it happened, and thank goodness it happened. Thank goodness we are continuing to move forward, and it's happening because we are all working together and pushing back on this failed policy of prohibition. So keep at it, friends. Hey, what are your weekend plans? Hey, speaking of weekend plans, not this weekend, but next weekend is the Scott's Edition Pumpkin Festival, and NORML will have a tent at the Scott's Edition Pumpkin Festival. We have a lot of cool. Should I bring a doll? We have a lot of cool Halloween adjacent merchandise. So come check it out. Come say hi and enjoy Scott's Edition Pumpkin Festival. It's a really awesome family-friendly event. It's outside. There's music. There's food. There's cool people like us. Yeah, so I hope to see you all there. Hey, Caroline, good to see you, friend. It is a step in the right direction, right? Sometimes people are just oh, it's not enough. And yeah, you're right, but it's better than where we were before. And it's really incredible for 6,500 people who don't have that, federal offense dragging them down anymore. Sherry, I will bring a doll. I don't know if it will be that one, but we happen to have a yard full of those dolls. So we'll bring at least one, maybe two, but probably like not porcelain doll in case they fall, break their face. Oh, you guys are so funny. I love it. All right. Now's a great time for me to remind you that it's not too late to get your 2022 NORML membership card. I was in the process this week of, they're right here, sending out literally a gajillion of these. And look, the ones that we have left are the ones that we have left. And when they're done, they're done. We're not printing more of 2022 membership cards, friends, and we're getting down to the bottom of the pile. So if you want to have a 2022 NORML membership card in your hands, make sure you head to norml.org/join. And if you are in Virginia, samesies, we have 2022 Virginia NORML membership cards, and we aren't printing anymore. So if you want to get one, make sure you join Virginia NORML at vanorml.org/join. Oh, Sherry. Oh, Sherry Bomb on Instagram. I'm just going to drop that right there for a minute. Kwame, that's a good question. I think that depends on many things as far as gun purchases. Hey, Fonz, I just did, oh my goodness, I don't need to knock that over. Hey, Fonz, I just did an interview for a news station, which I can remember which one it was, that their viewing area includes North Carolina. And so we did talk about that. We did talk about the difference and how, not only did Biden issue these pardons, but he urged governors to do the same. And while the former governor in Virginia had already taken those steps, North Carolina has not. And elections have consequences. Hey, Tamara, are you saying you gave one or you want me to give one? Give an example of who might in that 6,500 be pardoned. People that have simple marijuana possession charges. So, for example, I know someone who got arrested because they lit up in a public park land in front of law enforcement, and they were arrested. They did what is entirely common for federal simple possession arrests, 2 years of federal probation, which is really no joke. Federal probation is a big deal. So they've already had, presumably, their federal marijuana possession offense pardoned. So they don't have that anymore. That's who. Yeah, Kwame, I think that this depends on other things about the individual's record. And also, most importantly, depends on how one answers the background check when one is attempting to purchase a firearm. This was also something that was hotly debated, or discussed rather, at the CCA meeting yesterday. They seem to think that CCA ought to publish some content around that. And the acting head of the CCA said they didn't think they were in the position to be offering legal advice. And we're not offering legal advice on that issue either. We're simply saying how we interpret that outdated federal law. And at the end of the day, it's all about how the individual answers the background check questions. There is no sharing between states and the federal government, state-sanctioned medical cannabis activities. We say medical cannabis because that's typically where there's some record keeping involved. Yeah, so I had to move Sherry's sign so that we could have Halloween decorations instead. But I can see it over there, and it still says "Make good choices, friends." I should have put it right here so I can hold it up. All right, friends, this has been delightful as ever. Hey, if you're watching this after the broadcast and you have questions, you can still drop those in the chat and we will take a look at those over the weekend. We do this show almost every Friday, so be sure to hit that like, follow, and subscribe button so you never miss when NORML goes live. All right, everyone, I look forward to... Ooh, hey, David, you have a good weekend. See you, Dave, JT. Hey, I look forward to doing this again next Friday. Bring me your Halloween best. And hey, everyone, have a great weekend. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you back here next time. Bye-bye.